Good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 1194. Happy Tuesday. Feels like a Monday, doesn't it? Hope you all had a good holiday, good Memorial Day. Now you're back to the work, back to the grind. I grinded all day. Did didn't really take a break. Took Biscuit for a walk. Didn't leave the house. I should have emptied my car out of the tables, but I am a pretty disorganized person, but yet we're going to talk about how to organize your inventory today. Now, I'm a pretty if you look, I had a family friend of ours, business genius, and when when I was making plans to do this full time, I think she had a concern about my disorganization. How are you going to keep all this straight? Because on the surface, it looks like a disaster, and it is. It is a disaster. But my eBay store inventory is highly organized. It could be better because things happen. Human errors happen. It's never perfect because we are human. But I will walk you through how I organize my eBay inventory today, which is organized unlike the rest of the story. So I get to these phases where I'm like sorting and sorting and sorting, and all of a sudden I have piles, I have boxes, it's chaos. It's absolute chaos. And there eventually comes a time where it's like, all right, I gotta stop it. I gotta end this chaos and we gotta restart. And so I had a restart phase yesterday. Restart phases are also fun because you start going through and you find gems. So I did. So these are nothing huge, no like $100 cards in here, but a lot of fun stuff that is liquid and for the most part and should sell. I'll show off what I found. That's what I love about getting organized is finding fun gems. So did a lot of that, did a lot of shipping yesterday. Took Biscuit for a walk, and that's about it. Took Biscuit for a walk and shipped. I did list a lot. After the show, I ended up listing over, I think, 300 singles, a ton of 70 singles, 76, mainly 76, 77, 78 tops. And all of those, I think every single 70s card I listed for 99 cents free shipping. Well, how much do you make with 99 cents free shipping? I don't make a dime. I, in fact, lose a dime or more. I lose 15 cents, 20 cents, depending. But that's just on a single transaction. I had some volume sales. I got like a 35, like out of my 70s cards. I had somebody buy like 35 cards. So that's what we're going for. And so to kind of gain some of those sales, you've got to have stuff that people want at prices they'll pay. And, I think a lot of sellers are afraid of 99 cents because they don't want to lose money. And I get it, especially if it's your side hustle. If this is just a part-time side hustle for you, I completely understand. You don't want to do what full-time sellers are doing or sometimes have to do to generate sales. If you're just a flipper part-time. So I get it. But for a full-time seller, sometimes it's necessary to do things like this, like Costco. And that's what I always compare it to. The old rotisserie chicken. Hey, what do you want for dinner? How about a Costco rotisserie chicken? Are you going to Costco just to buy the $5 rotisserie chicken? Nay. You're probably going to leave with a $200 cart. So that's my 99 cent method. So I listed a lot of 70s cards, 99 cents free shipping. I did list a bunch of the 2024 Bowman singles that I picked up in a small bulk buy on Saturday at the Madison Card Show. A lot of those I actually listed at 99 cents. Some of the base I listed for 99 cents. I think the first Bowmans I listed for $1.75. I think the Chromes I listed for $1.75. Some were a little higher depending on the player, but there's only a couple players that were in there. I think the inserts I was at 250. Dylan Cruz might have been 350. So there's some more 2024 Bowman singles, and they're at blowout prices. So check that out. eBay store, 99centcards.com. Link in the description. Also scrolling at the bottom of your screen. So what else? Not much yesterday. Boring day. I'm itching to get to the post office today. How slow, or it wasn't slow. I was busy all day, but it was like completely into cards. So I was doing a lot of organizing, listing, shipping, the whole gamut. So I did want to. Another reason why I didn't want to, take time off to grill and drink beers yesterday was because I've got 2 days off coming up this coming weekend. I'll be down in Anawan for Anawan Fun Days, so I'll be leaving Saturday afternoon, and I'll be there Saturday night, all day Sunday. Sunday night, I won't be back till Monday afternoon. So basically 2 full days. I'll be out of commission for eBay, so wanted to certainly get a head start, I guess, on the week. And it's going to be a busy summer, so there's going to be multiple weekends where that's going to happen. So let's go to the chat. We'll talk about the subject. I will. I'll share my screen on the various ways that you can. Let me see. On the various ways that you can organize your inventory, and it's going to vary. Each person has their different efficiencies, and I've actually changed up how I've organized and been efficient. I mean, it's been efficient. It's been about the same since I finally settled on something, but I did experiment for a few times and realized the error of my ways. Let's see. I just want to get everything set up. Okay, here we go. All right. So let's go to the chat. Porter's in the house. Top of the morning. What's up? Brian Bayless in the house. Good morning. Jay Grimes is here. Good morning. George, what's up? Good evening to you. Cooter says, Happy Angel Hernandez retirement day. It should be a national holiday, certainly in the baseball world. Oh, one of the worst umpires in baseball retired. It was a sudden retirement. I haven't read anything behind it, but is there a reason? Was this like a quiet firing? Was he suspended and said, F you, I'm retiring, I'm not getting suspended? Or was it health related? Was it, I don't know. Be interesting to see if the story comes out. James, good morning. Cicadas are so loud up by me, like humming noises 24/7. Shit's crazy. We have not experienced the cicadas yet. I did read on the news that I think Lake Geneva, they have, so basically cicadas, everything spreads south to north like that. The birds, morels, cicadas. So they come up from the south to the north because I know, I've been watching like friends from various parts of the Midwest showing off their photos. It started, I don't know, wherever in the south, but then like the St. Louis area, and then central Illinois, and then northern Illinois. Now it's creeping into southern Wisconsin. We have not here in Madison, in my neighborhood, no cicadas yet, but I think they're on their way. So Bob's in the house. What's going on? Good morning. George says it's much easier for me to stay organized for business and work than day-to-day life. Amen. 100%. My desk, when I worked at the office, my desk was like immaculate, and I didn't have anything. I worked there for almost 8 years, and it just looked like a plain, like I didn't bring, because I hated my job and I didn't want to bring personal stuff in, because it's like, this, Any day could have been my last. I'd just get pissed off and I'm leaving. I'm done with this job. Never came to that, but it was always in the back of my mind. I'm getting the hell out of here. So I never took anything. So my desk was like super clean. Now, inside the drawers was a different story. It's like I open these drawers and there's just like, so a lot of my business was phone related. So I've got legal pads. I mean, I'd go through dozens of legal pads to jot notes down. And your notes are, I tossed I wish I would have kept one just for the memory. Never go back. I should have kept one, just the reminder, like if you're not successful selling cards, you have to go back to this. You have to go back to writing these chicken scratchings on a legal pad. And like none of it was, and I saved every damn legal pad. I mean, there were probably 100 legal pads in my file cabinet in my desk drawers, because I never knew. But the thing is, like I was in transportation, the market's so volatile. And it's kind of like very similar. The rates, and I know I think there's a couple people in the chat that are in the transportation field can attest that the trucking market is as volatile as the card market. And when we're talking comps, well, this Mason, and here's a perfect example. Mason Miller right now, Mason Miller is super hot, even though he's a relief pitcher. You know, his card. Now this was a dime card. This was a common in April. And here we are a month later, 2 months later, and this is probably a $5 card because he's like having a phenomenal season. Next month, he may have a couple bad outings, and next month he's back in the quarter box. That's how volatile the card market and transportation is. So I'd have my legal pads, and it's like my quote for Denver to Chicago could have been $1,000. The market flips, and now all of a sudden it's a 2,000. So it's like, well, what did I quote? Or one of my coworkers could have been, hey, what's the lane on Denver to Chicago? And I'm like, oh, let me see. I'm like, well, I go back to my notes, and usually I transferred from my legal pad to, you know, either Salesforce or our system. Our tech people created their own TMS that was linked into our company stuff. So then we could just go in and then it became open to everybody. But I'd go in before that. I'd go in like Denver to Chicago. Well, I quoted 2 months ago $1,000. Well, everybody's hanging up on me at $1,000. Well, the market's flipped because now there's, you know, whatever's coming out of Denver, coming out of Colorado. So very volatile. I don't know how I got on that kick, but my disorganization, it was organized but disorganized. Surface of my desk looked good. Underneath, a giant mess. But I kept detailed notes. Like eventually, like it was in Salesforce, and then I was very reluctant. And in my office, we were probably the last office to fully convert to the company software. And we went in kicking and screaming, I don't want to do this. And it's different. I hate different. And we eventually, you know, and it's like, hey, this is actually pretty helpful, especially when, you know, when I was on vacation, coworker was on vacation. Okay. You know, John's out. His client wants what did we do on LA to Philadelphia? Okay. He quoted this last time. I'm just going to go off that. The market's kind of the same. That's what we're going to do. Whereas before, it's like, I have no idea. Like, well, called you, John, what's LA to Philadelphia? What'd you do on this customer? Where are we at? Philly Joe, good morning. Looking forward to organization of my mess. There you go. Love it. It's fun because sometimes it's profitable when we organize. We find Mason Miller and it's like, he's pretty good. I wonder what his rookie cards are selling for. Mikey says it was a great day for baseball with Angels retirement. The talk of baseball. Angel Hernandez retires. David, good morning. Value Box Digger, does your shirt say Flipper? It does. My shirt says Flipper Life. Kind of like Miller High Life. I don't even know if this shirt company is around. I actually got this at the National. Lucktown Threads is the name of the t-shirt company. Let me see if they're still in. They were out of Chicago. Let's see. Yeah, looks like they're still in business. Lucktown Threads, their last tweet, they don't tweet much anymore. But looks like March. Looks like they're in Vegas now. But yeah, they had a lot of card related. I met one of the guys at the National. We had conversed on Twitter. I think it was the COVID National, so that would have been 2021, coming out of COVID. 2021, and so they gave me this shirt, Flipper Life. I shouted them out on Twitter. They had some other Lucktown Threads. Looks like they're still in business. Let's see. Give them a little love. Oh, took it down. Lucktown Threads. Let's see. Yep, they still have, looks like Vegas. So they have sports betting, they have casino, sports cards, golf, lifestyle. Here, let's show off. This is what you can get at Lucktown Threads. Oh, wrong screen. There we go. Oh, they've got the rated rookie. 1 of 1. Got the Jordan rookie pixelated. It's got to be pixelated to avoid that copyright. I like the introvert but willing to discuss cards. I like that. That's a new one. Happy Mail Day. Just slide it in. PSA, where waiting happens. Icy. That's kind of cool. It's not card related. Scotch tape. Just don't do it. Only vintage. There's one for Cooter. Only vintage. The Hobby with, you got painter's tape and card savers and a bubble mailer. That's pretty clever. Slab cracker. Lucktownthreads.com. Grail card. Gem Mint 10 and the Stranger Things. I don't like the way that looks, though. I don't like the purple on black. I wish that would blend in. That'd be much cooler if it blended with the color of the shirt. Highest bidder. Raiders of the retail shelves. That's dating this. Raiders of the retail shelves. I like it. There's the Flipper Life. So that's the shirt I have. Wax Addict Flipper Life. I thought of the shirts they had, they only had like 5 or 6 at the time that I got this shirt. If I were to pick out a shirt now, because that's what they're like, pick out a shirt that you like, and there was only like 6 to choose from. I kind of like the Hobby with all the supplies. I like that one. Let's see what else. I like the introvert but willing to discuss cards. I think that would be my go-to. Introvert but willing to discuss cards would be my first choice, and then I think the Hobby would be my second choice if I had to repick. Lucktown Threads, cool stuff. Where we at? Orlando's here. Good morning. Red Light 34, what's up? Good morning. Kyle's in the house. Good morning. Mr. Archer, what's up? Red Light says, hit the like button. Thank you, sir. Cooter says, tell mom thank you for the McCovey. Hey, yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Cooter, for all that you have done. Dorky Angler, good morning. Out on the lake while I watched this morning. Hey, cheers to that. A little fishing for the Dorky Angler. Neil Cublin, what's going on? Been a while. Yeah. Go Celtics. Did they win last night? I think I saw it was, I just happened to look to see what the series was at, and I think it was 3-0 Celtics. I am rooting for the Celtics and shit, who, and I realized, and I'm like, oh, I got that wrong. Celtics are up. They were up 3-0. Maybe they won. I don't know. And now I'm just like, I wanted the Timberwolves, but now it's like 3-0, I think, in that series. And it's like, might as well have the Mavericks win. So I actually, when I was going through, what's up, Johnny Boy Cards? Good morning. When I was organizing, I went through I found some basketball, and I'm like, I'm going to pull some of the guys that are still in it. Luka, I think I've got a big Luka lot coming to hit eBay soon. Was it Kyrie? Is Kyrie on the Mavericks? I think it's Kyrie. So I pulled some of his, and Celtics. Who's on the Celtics? Is like Brown and Smart? Are they still? I'll have to look to see what their stuff is doing. Red Light 34 says, I did some cards yesterday and a lot of 3D printing. Nice. Harlan's here. What's going on? Ah, yes. Rip to the great Bill Walton. Glad Bo was able to snag his card at the Madison show. Kind of eerie. Yes. So on Saturday, I was talking about I found a bunch of like 5 or 6, 86 Fleer basketball in a $1 box. One of which was Bill Walton. I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't snag that fast enough. And that's his last play. That's his last card as a player. Boston Celtics, 86 Fleer basketball, Bill Walton. I put it in my eBay store that night, Saturday night, $12.50. And of course, with the news, there's always the death bump. And all of a sudden, yesterday, I had 3-4 offers. They were all $10 offers. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to sit on these. Somebody's going to buy. It's $12.50 or like, come on. Somebody's going to buy this at full price. And it was purchased last night at full price. But yes, rest in peace, Bill Walton. Oh my God. And on commentary, just so awesome. So awesome. The world is going to miss Bill Walton. Cooter says you need to do a live chat with your mom. Many questions need to be asked. I don't know if my mom would be good on a Q&A. My mom doesn't remember shit. She just like, blah, da, 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 da. I don't know how good she would be on a Q&A. I don't know how good she would be. John says, when is your mom going to stop living in sin? Randy, what's going on? Good morning. Sal Dougie's in the house. Good morning. Angel had a back injury. Okay, so it was due to injury. John says a quiet firing would have been in the offseason. Mark says, good morning. Wonder how much MLB had to pay off Angel Hernandez to retire. CB Buckner should be next. Zach says they were working out a settlement like when Bo slow walked off Hobby Hotline. Yeah, there you go. Red Light says, sad news, Bill Walton. Yes. John says, God hates red states, cicadas, floods, tornadoes. Yeah, we've had a lot of severe weather, in recent weeks. John travels with a portable office. I was about to tell a colleague they need to clean up their workspace and to look at mine as an example. Then I remembered how messy my home office desk is. Logistics is volatile. The true downfall is that service and reliability is getting worse as the price goes up. Yeah, and there's a lot of variables that go into that and this is why. So in my business, my current business, my eBay business, like I am not, and it's kind of the opposite of when I went into logistics, when I went into transportation, I was customer, like it's all customer service. Well, when you get into transportation, customer service. But that's what my company was like. Why are we different? Well, because we are, customer service oriented. You can pick up the phone and, if my client, they can call me after hours and they can get a hold of me and I'm there. But there's other companies, there's other logistics companies that you call in and you go into a call center and you don't have a one-on-one. So that was unique to my company, where we did have sometimes, and it wouldn't be like there was never a call center. Like you wouldn't call, like you call our office here in Madison, and you'd either get me or you'd get my if somebody was backing me up, or our on-call person. If it was on the weekend or if it was overnight, you get an on-call person, and then usually the on-call person didn't know what to do and they'd call me. So, but what I found out quickly in transportation was we acted like that, like this is what differentiated us as a company. And when it all came down to it, it's all about dollars and cents. And it was very transactional. And I came up through and I wasn't really in sales in the media world. But you built relationships, you built business relationships through actual business relationships, and not just you're just another transaction. And so I hated that going into we pride ourselves on customer service, and we want this to be, we don't want this to be a transactional relationship. And in reality, logistics, transportation is very transactional. Now, was every client like that? No. I had multiple clients that we had really good relationships, and that's how that's how we succeeded in our partnerships. But there was a lot of companies that I worked with that, it's like, okay, my quote's $1,000. I can do it for $1,000. And they would come back, well, C.H. Robinson can do this for $987. If you can match that, I'll give it to you. And it's like, and early on, it's like, okay, because I wanted the deal. Okay, I'll do it. But then all of a sudden, your customer catches you on that, and you just failed in the negotiation. So then you just had to stand firm and be like, nope, not going to do it. Not going to do it. So then when I started my own business, it's like, you know what? Especially when you're in low-end cards, what do people want in cards? A lot of people buy from me because they know me. They watch Hobby Evolution, follow me on Twitter, Cubs fan. But for the most part, 99-cent cards, it's transactional. I'm the lowest priced card on eBay. They don't care some people care if it gets there the next day. Generally, most people don't care how fast their 99-cent 1976 Topps Tom Griffin gets to them. When's this going to ship? It's the cheapest one out there. It's very transactional, and that's how I run my business. It's very transactional. Low prices, slow surface. But you get it when I tell you. It's going to be there with, or it's not going to be there. I can't hold the USPS's hand, but it's going to be in USPS hands within 3 business days. And that's what you're buying into. Transactional. Where are we at? Mark says, I hope the Oakland, Las Vegas, Sacramento A's keep Miller. I'd like to see him in a Cubs uniform. However, the market is so high. It would take a stupid amount of prospects. And I know prospects are lottery tickets, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, relief pitchers are talking about volatile. How about relief pitching? Look in the dictionary under volatile, and you're going to see a band of relief pitchers. So while I would like to have him, I kind of want the Cubs to develop their own. Christian says, good morning. What's up? John says, please don't say Salesforce. I know. Ugh. Mark Marinello looking good. How much more weight? I don't know. I think I'm going to buy a scale just to see. Thank you. I now have a goal. I don't have a numerical goal to lose. I have kind of a target, but I'm not going to really look at a scale until I feel necessary. But I do have a goal, an interim goal. One of my buddies gave me a bunch of probably, in the jersey, I would consider them vintage, game used minor league. Talking like 80s and early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. So a couple of them are small because, most most professional baseball players aren't built like a fat, out of shape baseball card seller out of his basement with a big old beer belly. So my goal is to get into the Peoria Chiefs. Are a team that I kind of grew up. I grew up with the Quad Cities teams, but the Peoria Chiefs were the Cubs affiliate just down the road. I worked there. They have and it's the classic, Indian head that you can't get away with today, Peoria Chiefs logo. And when I put it on initially, when I got it, it's like it barely, I couldn't get any buttons. So it's like I'd have to, be the fat guy with the unbuttoned jersey. So it's in my closet. And yesterday, in fact, I'm like, I'm going to try this. This is the, the tester. Back in the day, I'd have shirts, and if I'd, lose weight, I could get back into these shirts. This was always the tester. Like, okay, how much weight have I lost? I could tell. Okay, I can get most of the buttons. I can get all the buttons. It's good. So the Peoria Chiefs jersey, at one point, I could not but I could get maybe one button of the jersey. Yesterday, I was able to button every button. Now, I looked like fat guy in a little coat, but it's a start. I could get every button down. I think it's a size 44 jersey. So getting there. LA to Philly is currently $11,600 for John. See, I'm trying to think of what that would have been. That was not a lane. I was just throwing out cities. That was not a lane that we were doing. We were doing LA to Chicago a lot, which I know at one time, and this was like towards the end, and the COVID stuff had a lot to do with it. It was approaching like 10, but that was also that might have been our mail route also. So a lot of our long routes like that were mail, like US mail, especially if it was first class. You're talking like overnight. It's got to be there and, within the fastest legal time. So team drivers, and it'd be like 10K to Chicago from LA. But that was also, not your typical freight. But LA to Philly, just kind of going off of memory, 11.6. If it's just standard freight, that was probably when I was there, 4K, maybe. I'd probably not even 5. Sometimes less than that. So that's significantly. I'm curious what that was, and I guess if that's a lane that you've been familiar with. What was that 5 years ago, or pre-COVID, or in various times? Even pre-COVID, there were times where the market spikes, the market shifts up and down. Brian, what's going on? Good morning. Anyone pre-ordering Bowman Sapphire today through the Montgomery Club? Wonder what extreme tax will be. I will not be dabbling in Bowman Sapphire. I bet James will be. James is a big Sapphire fan. I know it's a great product. It's a great resale product, but it's just not something. I've got enough inventory. I still haven't decided about Series 2, which is coming out. Is it next week now? Have we seen a checklist? I don't believe we've seen a checklist for Series 2 yet. And I think it comes out either next week or in two. So today is Tuesday, 29th. I think it's in two weeks. I think 2 weeks from tomorrow. Dude, good morning. Had a great time at Uncle Rich's show yesterday. Excellent. Craig's Trends. What's going on? I umpired my first MLB training game with Angel in 1989. I hope he has a peaceful retirement. Very cool. So Craig probably has a different view, but he knows him personally, worked with him, has a different thought than the rest of us who've never met the guy. But we just see his work in a game. Value Box Digger says, I feel like the just slide it in shirt is the incorrect gender. Right? Dan, what's going on? Max says, rip to Bill, but his commentary on NCAA is right up there with the worst in sports along with Hubie. Oh, terrible take. Bill Walton was a gem. I absolutely loved. I mean, I could stay up for West Coast games just to to listen to Bill Walton's commentary on college basketball. Wisconsin is definitely not a red state, LOL. Value Box Digger says, here to learn about Bo's current job. Got to get through the previous job of why you shouldn't be in transportation. Yes. Sales farce. I deal with my own agent 24/7. She gets all the calls. I had 15 drivers this weekend with 15 plans other than mine. She straightens things out real quick for me. Each show I do is 6 figures business. Ooh, very nice. Brian, what's going on? Good morning. 6 figures in trucking alone. Good morning, Troy. What's happening? Buy a scale. It does help. Just weigh yourself when you wake up each morning. Your prop mic just died. Uh-oh. Am I muted? Nobody else has said I'm muted. The Cubs relief corps is doing just fine. Right. Just like their hitters doing just fine. It's like oh my God, our bullpen sucks. It's like we haven't scored a single run. Who cares about the bullpen sucking? Let's get some hits. Christian, the changes you made to your diet is basically Weight Watchers. You really are doing Weight Watchers without doing Weight Watchers. Mark says, you don't have to tell me about volatile relievers. Edwin Diaz went from unhittable to unwatchable. I think Angel Hernandez is mixing your audio feed. Flawed Thinkers in the house. Good morning. Had a whatnot auction yesterday. Made $500 in sales after fees. Sold a good amount of stagnant inventory. A lot of bulk. Nice. John needs air ride travelers, and there is a firm delivery deadline. Single driver. Aha. Air ride trailers, I assume. I think most trailers are air ride. Unless you get like a, one of those, really outdated trailers. Air ride trailers. Brian says, have spring training 2025 completely booked. Flight, Airbnb, and car for all under $500. Holy shit. Brian and I talked about, he flies out of Milwaukee. I did, after you texted me, I did look up flights, and today's Tuesday. So usually flight prices are a little better on Tuesdays. Madison to Phoenix. Let's see. What do we got for Madison to Phoenix? Let's just see. I'm going to look at what. Come on. Here we go. I'm going to go, let's see. I'm going to just test March 11th is a Tuesday to March 18th. See what those are. Tuesdays are typically the cheapest flights. And we do American nonstop, $385. Plus there's, going to be taxes and all that shit. And I always upgrade. So probably going to be $500 for a flight alone. Of course, that I'm not booking today. So it could go up. I think I've paid as much as like $800 one year. So we'll see. I actually do have credit though with American because I canceled and rebooked it at cheaper price, and it was just for flight credit. Let's see. My hotel will certainly not be under $500. My hotel will be over $2,000 alone. And my car is my car is usually a couple $100, $300-400 maybe for the car. It's an expensive trip. Value Box Digger says Optic Football has been out and still doesn't have a checklist. PSA is returning cards to customers saying they won't grade. I think PSA does have I think they are now grading the Optic Football. The thing about Topps has been pretty good with getting the check. The Bowman checklist was out a month before release. And I think Series 1 was out about a month before release. So I am a little surprised at Series 2. Here we are 2 weeks out. And of course, I haven't looked lately. It could be on the website. Let's see. Help. Where is it's always hard to find. Here we go. Discover checklists. Series 2 checklist still not out. Coming soon. John says Angel was well liked by his umpiring colleagues, apparently. Marlins fans liked Angel. Talk about the game or shut the F up. See, I'm not like, I'm not. Dude smoked 10 bowls before every game. I loved Bill Walton. He's a national treasure. He will be missed, especially on commentary. I absolutely loved his commentary. Brian says, leave for Madison on March 10th. Fly Sun Country. Flight is 2:30. Oh, nice. Oh, I took my thing down. Fly American on the way back. I have the American credit, though, so I've got to, and I don't fly, so I need to use my credit. John says, Orlando, there's only 12 Marlins fans. He probably had them all in his favorites on his iPhone. Levon Hernandez was his best friend. There's a name I haven't heard in a while. Randy says, do you favor a grading service? No, I don't. I mean, I like SGC for pre-war. For modern, I really don't care. I like the look of modern in SGC, but I also, if it's in a PSA slab, I know PSA is king. So I really don't care. And I'm not, if it's PSA or SGC, those are would be my two go-tos. I've never submitted to PSA. And now here, and let me clarify. I've never submitted to PSA. I've submitted maybe 20 cards to SGC, all pre-war, couple vintage, I guess. So, but that's all for my PC. If I was doing it to flip, also depends. If it was pre-war, I'd still submit it to SGC. Modern, I'd go PSA. But I've never submitted a card for grading to sell. It's just for my own PC. So I really don't. I mean, do I favor PSA and SGC just because they're the two top? I would not do Beckett, would not do Tag, I would not do CGC or any of the other fly-by-night grading companies. Value Box Digger says, does no checklist reflect a weak rookie class? Seems if it was a strong rookie class, they would be pumping that checklist to pump the sales. That's could be a good point. Could also be, well, I guess by now it should all be, I would think it would be packed out. I don't know. That could be. Series 2 typically does have a weak rookie class anyway, so I don't know. Could be why they're holding it back. Like, oh, this checklist sucks, so we're not going to put the checklist out until a week before like we used to do. I don't know. John says, they say grading is a scam. Grading of modern cards is perplexing. Sal Dougie says, Bill Walton was a gem, a little wacky, but I will take that over the endless stream of cookie cutter announcers. I agree. And it's a color commentator for a reason. They add color to the broadcast. And I don't think any other commentator added as much color as Bill Walton did to a broadcast. Let's see. Value Box Digger says he's submitted 20 cards to SGC. He's received back 14. I lost 6 cards, but that was thanks to FedEx. Yes, that is true. So before I get in, I'm going to do a little show and tell before we get into how to organize your eBay inventory. So I found some Mason Millers. This was as I was organizing yesterday. Mason Miller just having a absolute crazy, phenomenal year. This is a refractor rookie. First chrome of Mason Miller. I probably have more. Here's first paper. I didn't realize Walker Jenkins was in this product, this Panini USA. It's still probably a $2 card, but this I'll probably just set aside in my Cubs PC. Owen Casey. Didn't realize I had this Pat McAfee. These usually sell for about $10. Found a Manny Machado rookie card. Found a Freddie Freeman rookie card. I found one of Brian Bourne's favorites. How about the Bo Bichette, the Through the Years inserts? Those are surprisingly good sellers. A first Bowman Nolan Arenado. A Max Scherzer Upper Deck rookie. A guy I've never heard of, but a rookie auto. Tommy Manzella. And And then this is kind of fun. I found all these Jackson Holidays, a couple MLB draft. I found 3 of these. I found 2 Chrome first Jackson Holidays. Now his stuff's gone down a little bit since preseason because he did struggle in a paper. And I also found this Jackson Holiday, but hey, it's still a fun find. Found some vintage Don Landrum rookie. These must have came out of a Goodwill pallet. Some old Bowman, Willard Nixon, and old Hoot Evers. Hoot. Old baseball names are fun. Where are we at? John wants, we get to the giveaway. I'm good if you talk about the game sport, but anything outside of that is dumb. Hence why ESPN is basically irrelevant now. Stay on topic for what people came to you for. Zach says, who is the Angel Hernandez of the hobby? Christian says, those who prospect. Tigers Colt Keith has been hot for the last 4 weeks. Episode 1194 will be epic in 10 years in the lore of whatever happened to. Zach and Porter says, Golden, Ruben, Redemptions. Zach, probably Pepino Man. Congrats on the Through the Years find. You just made $10. His prices have started to go down since he started playing at the professional level, right? Well, he played so poorly at the professional level that he's now back in the minor leagues, which is still professional, but not major leagues. PSA is going to authenticate their own slabs now because of fakes. Not sure if there is a fee, but I'm sure there will be eventually. Yeah. Was it like $2 million that was the straw. I was watching Mike's retro show yesterday and I was just going off of there was a couple people were arrested for the PSA, the fakes. And then they did find, they also arrested the guy that stole the $2 million at the Best Western in Strongsville. Dan says all 5 teams in AL Central are in the bottom 9 of attendance. That said, no MLB team should be in Florida. Look at their attendances every year. Max says Keith's been a biggerish name in prospecting for a year or 2. So let's talk about how to organize your eBay inventory. This question gets asked quite a bit. And if you've made it 48 minutes into the program, here we are. So this is, and again, there's different ways to go about organizing, and it's kind of based on your efficiencies. I started out with I probably had 2,000 or more items before I started organizing my inventory. So it was really slowing me down when I started selling more and more cards. And it's like, I've got to find a different method. The first method I started was I would put A1. So I would have box 1, tab A, box A1. It wasn't the tabs yet. So box A1. And then I would put A1 in the title. And so I'm going through, and that slowed me down because I'd be going to ship my order and I'm like, oh, I can't find this card. Oh, it's in A1 because it's in the title and I wasn't using the custom label SKU at that point. Then I started using the custom label SKU. Then I started dating them. And the more digits and numbers and letters for me slows me down. Like, okay, 02, 01, 23. Okay. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, 02, I'm in 24. So you kind of got to think ahead and with what your process is. So I realized pretty quickly this is not going to be the way to go either. And I think Paul Carl actually turned me on to the box tab method. So, started with box 1. Here we are in box 25, tab AR, AQ, and so on and so forth. And it starts at A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Then we go to double A, B, A, C, A, D. You get the point. And then I just go in, box 25, tab AR, super easy. Boom, there it is. I keep my tabs to less than 100 cards. So this is basically what a tab, how many cards I put in a tab. You can do is, what I found is the fewest amount of cards, it's quicker to pull, but the fewer amount of cards, it also takes a little more time to scan if you're using Card Dealer Pro. I've played around with it multiple times. Okay, I'm only going to use 25 cards per tab. Well, then the in-between time slows me down because it's like, oh, I'm going to do this now. And just my ADD kicks in. I've also scanned in like 200 cards, and then I've found cutoff spaces. Okay, I'm going to do, this 25 is going to be 25A, 25B. And that slowed me down because then I had to think. Okay, this here, and then I've got to go find it in the spreadsheet, and then I've got to go copy and paste. And I also found mistakes happen quite a bit. If I'm doing 8, 9, 10 tabs in the same spreadsheet, I found that I was starting to make mistakes copying and pasting. Forget to copy and paste. Oh, and this is in the same tab. So I'm trying to limit the mistakes. And so that's why when I scan everything in, I'm going to scan this batch of cards in, this 80 cards or whatever it might be. That's going to be 25 AR. My batch in Card Dealer Pro, 25 AR. If I ever need to look up, which I typically don't have to, I can go back in and see, okay, here's 25 AR. So that's what I've settled on to. That's what works best for me. Now, how do you do it? And people ask, well, how do you do the custom label SKU? So here on eBay, when you go, if you're listing, I guess, from the desktop. Does anybody list from the desktop? I can't share my iPhone screen, so I bet I probably could. There's probably like a tab where you can do that. Okay, let me go. So we're just gonna, how about this 1976 Topps Tom Griffin? So excuse me. All right, so 76 Topps Tom Griffin. Here we go. We're going to continue without a match. We're just going to do it on. It's ungraded. Continue. I'm going to say excellent because it's a 70s card. All right. So let's just, we're not going to actually list this card. I'm just going to show you where it would be. Item specifics. Here we go. So under additional item specifics, and I think on your iPhone, if you're listing from your phone, it's all the way at the bottom. You have to go into your item specifics all the way at the bottom. I think we're going to have to show more. Okay, now I'm not even seeing it. Maybe I passed it up. Maybe it's not at the bottom. Okay, now, see, I've never listed from the desktop. Maybe I should have looked at this before I decided to share. I don't know where it's at on the desktop. But on your iPhone, it's the very last. It's custom label SKU. Maybe it's UPC. I don't know. Well, this kind of fell flat, didn't it? Huh. Am I glossing over it? Card thickness, insert set, print run. Variations, condition, description, pricing, shipping. Huh. Let me go and we're gonna stop sharing. Okay. Go to my phone. John, list for me. So do you use custom label SKU on when you list? Let's just go here. Oh, just sold a bunch more 70s cards. Selling. Mine shows under subtitle. Oh, okay. So let's go back. Let's share that again. Under subtitle, under category. Oh, that's under category. So where does it show on your screen. Oh my God. Well, how? Apparently you have to toggle it. Okay, so thank you. Who said that? Thank you, Card Hobbyist. All right. So apparently on the desktop, you have to go to See Title Options and you have to enable the custom label SKU. And then there, so you can do 25 AR. I got caps locked on. Or you can do, I think I do box 25 tab AR. I could just do 25 AR. So that's where you would put your custom label SKU. And then it pops up when you go to ship, it pops up right below. So that's how you do it at a desktop. On your iPhone, I believe it's under item specifics, and it's the very last. At least for on my listings, it's always last, the last one. Now, if you're doing it on Car Dealer Pro, let's share Car Dealer Pro. So you go into your batches, and we're going to create a new batch, and we're going to do SKU test. All right. So these are all settings, and your screen may look different on Car Dealer Pro. These are all templates that I've set up. So my general settings, my batch name, we're going to go baseball. I've got default templates for various sports, use baseball, and then I've got a generic description template. So that populates in all of my descriptions. So we go to additional bulk settings. We'll just stay at near mint. We'll price this one at 99 cents. Now, this throws people off. Cabinet, shelf, box, row section. That is only internal to Car Dealer Pro. That does not transfer to eBay. These fields do not transfer to eBay. So that if you're putting your SKUs in those fields, it's not going to show up on eBay. That's internal for Car Dealer Pro only. So create new batch. We'll just do the old magic scan. And we'll just do Bob Tolan. Oh, there we go. So there's Bob Tolan, 1976 tops. Where did I put? Oh, because you don't you don't put you can't put your SKU in Car Dealer Pro. So we're gonna export this. Export without viewing. It's under SKU test. So now let's share. Oh, shit. I've got to open that screen. All right, now. So once I export that tab or that batch, okay, here's my spreadsheet. Tab B, custom label. And that's where I do box 25 tab AR. So pretty much everything, once I transfer everything over to the spreadsheet, I'm ready to go. The only thing I change is I'll just do box 25 tab AR. I'll do control paste all the way down, and then I save it, upload it to eBay. So that's how I do it. Everybody is different. Everybody's going to have their own efficiencies, what they do, what works better for them. That's how I work. The box tab method works for me. Super simple. I like the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. And it works. John says he doesn't use SKUs. His organization methods are a little different, would only work for me. John Maybe says, first time catching you live in a couple of weeks. Congrats on winning the cowbell at Bratfest. Who would have guessed you would be so good at skill games? See? How about that? Maybe I am low roller scratcher. Where is he today? He is not shilling Bitcoin for us this morning. John has always liked the Bob Tolan card. Double A cards. Good morning. Card Hobbyist says, I put the SKU in Car Dealer Pro on the batch overview screen. Oh, where's the batch overview screen? Batch overview. Okay. Oh, it does have the skew. So that's where those numbers are coming from. Aha. But now do you have to copy? Can you auto-populate that within a batch? Because otherwise I don't want to manually type 25 AR in 75 times, where in the spreadsheet I can just copy and paste. I don't think you can copy and paste that all the way down, can you? But that would be interesting if you could. Or can you, once you create a batch, would there be a way? Is there a way to auto-populate that in your templates? I don't know. So I'm curious, how do you handle it? Curious how you handle it. Because if you're manually entering it in, I'm just going to stick to spreadsheet. But if there's a way to auto-populate it at the beginning of your batch, then I think that would come in handy. Here's a link to Bitcoin. Copy paste is probably just as quick. That's what I'm thinking, unless it auto-populates. Oh, you copy and paste individually. It's faster in Excel, but I just don't want to open the spreadsheet after I download it. I got it. So yeah, so it's definitely going to be faster copying and pasting in Excel. Click skew. Click skew. I don't know what that means. Click skew. Oh, there you go. Okay, so I think what he means by this, let's present. Here, I'm going to go back and do a previous, since that batch only has one. Come on. AS. Okay, now let's share this. All right, so here's an old batch, 25 AS. Am I sharing? Yes. Okay. So I think what Joe J said, so where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? Skew all the way over here. So Cardi the Pro attaches this generic 1008 skew. Click on skew. Multiple clear values. There you go. How about that? How about that? So Card Hobbyist. Just click on skew, and then it takes a couple clicks. I'm stuck in my ways. It's probably a couple seconds savings. I'll probably still just copy and paste in Excel because that's just the way I'm doing. So if you're not opening Excel, so I'm assuming you're just, once you save it, you're just uploading it from where it saves in. Because what I'm doing is, so I'll export it, export without review, and then I just go up here and I open it, and then I boom, do that, and then I save it because I don't know. I think it probably saves in some download folder. I guess I could go in and change that. So I'll probably stick to opening Excel and doing it that way, as opposed to, although I guess I could do that. So it's all about our own efficiencies. I agree with this. Command CP, probably the greatest forward leaps in human history. Porter says, I do the same. I use skew 81J for box 8, row 1, tab J, for example. So, that was actually something that I started with. I was doing box, row, tab. And what I quickly found out was, okay, all of a sudden you're not going to keep those. It's a waste of space if you only stick to that box, row, tab method. So I'm moving rows. And so like in box 2 I have, because I think it was box 2 I did that. I've got row 4 all the way into row 2 because I've sold that many cards. So the rows mean nothing anymore. So now it's like row 3 gets moved over. So now I just do box tab. And then we go into double letters when needed. Brian says, I use SKU and CDP. Also copy paste the whole row. Card Hobbyist learned something new. Jeff Bezos was having the same issue 28 years ago. Click the word SKU and it gives the option to do it. With the amount of inventory you have, what do you do with duplicates? List them. Just depends. It depends on what they are. Say they're 70s cards. Say I have like 4 Tom Griffins. I will list those separately because, typically on 70s and 80s cards, the centering is completely different from card to card. Modern cards, I'll do quantity listings. 2024 Bowman Ethan Salas, it'll be 10 cards in a quantity listing. But if I'm not, they're not completely organized or sorted, I'm getting new inventory all the time. So I'm not going to go check if I've got this Bowman Chrome Ethan Salas in my store. I don't go check my store. I'm just going to list another one because of it's not worth my time to go and check every single card to see if I have a duplicate in the eBay store. So that answers your next question. Do you search your store? No, I do not. Because that would, time management, that would just be, I'd spend all day looking at my eBay store, looking to see if I had cards all ready for sale. Bo saying, I'm probably stuck in my ways is right behind Command CP in historical significance. Hey, I always admit I'm stubborn and stuck in my ways. I will readily admit that. His dupes have their own individual SKU and usually never meet. Victor, what's up? For the record, I've noticed when I don't tune into the show or the Facebook group, my number of listings go down. However, the opposite is true. Just want to say thank you for being consistent. Hey, thank you. Let's see. Brian Wolf says, I don't export CSV straight to eBay. Only thing that doesn't work in export is setting a best offer limit. I keep forgetting to follow up with CDP about it. Interesting. Brian says, heading to the AmFam Clam on Thursday to catch the noon game against the Cubs. Should be a great time. Hopefully it's better than last night. And Brian's rooting for the other team. Brian's rooting for the home team on Thursday, but Max is going to be there on Thursday. I think Max has first row seats for Thursday's game. So Max will be countering Brian. Max rooting for the good guys. So I'm glad I'm blacked out. I have YouTube TV. I mentioned this yesterday, and I don't want to, the way the Cubs have been playing, I'm being a fair weather fan. And decided not to turn the game on to some pirated stream that Low Roller Scratcher suggests. And I'm glad I didn't because the Cubs suck right now and it's awful and I don't want to watch it. So I'm glad I'm blacked out because I don't want to watch this garbage Cubs team that they're putting on the field right now. And there's stupid Sal Dougie. Just kidding. Go Brewers. All right, so that's what I had for today. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, shop my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Buy 7 or more at regular price, you'll save 25% off at checkout. Newly added 70s cards, 76 to 78 commons, 99 cents free shipping. Also added some more 2024 Bowman singles. Best of both worlds right there. A lot of those I listed for 99 cents free shipping as well. Buy 7 or more at regular price. You'll save even more off that 99 cents. You get those for about 75 cents each if you buy 7 or more at regular price. So going to be doing some more organizing today, some more shipping. What's today? Today's Tuesday. Tuesdays suck, man. Maybe that's why I think Tuesday, maybe Maybe I'm just thinking Tuesdays suck so much because of days like this. You're coming off a 3-day weekend. You maybe imbibed on Memorial Day at a cookout, had a few too many beers. Tuesday morning, you wake up. Oh, I don't want to go back to work. It's Tuesday. Maybe that's why. Maybe I hate Tuesdays because you're coming off of 3-day weekends and it's just rolled with me. Now I don't care, but it's like, Tuesday. But Tuesdays, there's like nothing on TV. Like Monday, even though I don't really watch much TV, I kind of like Monday, you've got Monday Night Raw, which I don't watch. I do want to talk about something not card related that I did watch last night. Tuesday, Wednesday, AEW wrestling, which I really don't watch anymore either. So I'm just an idiot, I guess. Last night I turned on a documentary on MASH that was on Fox. I miss these like network specials. It seems like they don't have them anymore. But they had one last night on MASH. And I was not a big MASH viewer because I was really not born when MASH was on. I think I was 1 year old when the MASH finale aired in 1983. 83. That's for Sal Dougie. So I was like, but MASH was huge in a lot of my generation, big on MASH because it aired in reruns. And where I grew up, it was on right after the local news, I think on the ABC affiliate. So it came on at 6:30 every weekday. And then it came on after the news at like 10:30. So I think as I never really had a curfew, but I knew when the I knew when that music started playing that it like, oh shit, I've got to go to bed. Now I can't even stay up that late. So I was watching the MASH, and then I go down these rabbit holes because when I watch because I really don't know like the act, like I know Alan Alda, but I don't know much about them, right? I don't know their history. I was fascinated by McLean Stevenson's history. Now, McLean Stevenson left after the 3rd season, and he wanted to be like the top dog, and ended up having a show that failed, and then had another show that failed. Ended up having like 5 shows that failed after MASH, not the show after MASH, but after he left the show MASH. So it's just fascinating. I'm going down and I'm like, I wonder if there's YouTube videos. And you can find like 70s. You can't really find 70s because VCRs weren't a thing in the 70s. I don't think. Maybe they were coming on in the late 70s, I guess. So you can't really find recordings of 70s TV shows, but you can from 80s shows. And sometimes I go on YouTube rabbit holes and I'll look up like 1 year wonder shows that were on during the 80s. So I went down this Wikipedia rabbit hole and I was looking up McLean Stevenson and Trapper John and the other actors that were on MASH. It was fascinating. My wife walks into the room and I'm like, I'm watching a documentary on MASH. And she just like looks at it, she's like, oh my God. But it was MASH. All right. So that's what I watched last night. Brian says, might do a card art scavenger hunt once I get inside the stadium. Could be fun. John says it's not a normal Tuesday. Travis says Tuesdays are rough for sure. Thanks for sharing all your positive eBay vibes. Hey, you are welcome. John says Monday, masquerading is another day. Mondays are dicks. Max says, yep, I'll be behind the Cubs dugout Thursday. Wednesday night, no idea where I'll be yet. John says, can you pull your undershirt collar up to complete the full Reverend look? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you bet. I'll be like who was the preacher on the Reverend on? How about that? How about that? John says MASH was on every day at school, after school. When I grew up, it was on at 6:30, 10:30. Only people over 45 would care about MASH. Probably the same demo for network TV. Not really, though, because there's a lot of people my age, and I'm under 45, that love MASH because it was in syndication forever. Like it was on in syndication through the 90s. So I grew up with MASH and watching MASH. And so I think it's multi-generational because of how much it was on. Like it was on in syndication so often that it fell into another generation of viewers, not just people that grew up watching it when it was on. When Trapper and Henry Blake left, it was not as good. MASH's finale had 125 million watchers, which is insane. Which is absolutely insane. You know, will never be duplicated because there were probably 3 channels back then in 1983. Fox wasn't a network yet. I guess if you count PBS, but you had 3 networks. Cable TV was in its early period, but there weren't too many cable households, I would imagine, in 1983. Yeah, you now with everything like streaming, and it's just, the thing is, it's kind of, and I was thinking about this last night. It's like this, like there's no such thing as appointment television anymore. Like even stuff that's like DVRs, like we can record on our TVs and watch, or just like it's going to be on some streaming service the next day, and we don't have to watch commercials with it. And so like, even if there's a point, like we don't have appointment television anymore because it's like, well, I'll just record it and then I can fast forward through the commercials and I can watch it tomorrow. Back in 1983, very few households had a VCR. So you weren't recording it on VCR, and if you grew up, Max is too young for VCRs, I would imagine. You grow up with a VCR. It was a pain in the ass. Like we weren't, like the only time I would record stuff on VCR, like record stuff, would be if I wasn't going to be home. Like I would record all of the NCAA tournament first round games because I was at school, unless I faked sick, which I did often to watch the NCAA tournament. But I would record that, but I wasn't recording shows because I was watching them. Like I'm just going to watch it. You weren't thinking of fast forwarding through commercials. Like at least I wasn't. I don't know. Max says, what is MASH? He's got to be kidding. Everybody knows what MASH is. Orlando says, that's why John has a wrench to fix Bo's clothes. Dan says, I have a 1982 Donruss Hawkeye PSA 8. Dan's in the house. What's going on? Good morning. Hope you have a great week. John says, growing up, we referred to cable TV as UHF. Great movie. Great movie, by the way. Hobby Evolution is the only appointment TV. And that's kind of the funny thing with YouTube. There are shows where I don't want to watch it on replay because I want to type in the chat. And like I was watching the replay of Hobby Hotline yesterday, and it's like, it's just not the same. Like I want to type my thoughts. It's like, you could type it in the comment section, but there's no fun in that. Card Hobbyist says, to put that in perspective, 123 million people watched the last Super Bowl, and that was broadcast worldwide. Amazing. Card Hobbyist truthing people. Max says, too young for a VCR. Dude, I grew up on Disney VHS. I'm 34, not 14. Okay, then your MASH comment was a joke then, because you know what MASH is. All right, so now I'm done. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. 99-cent cards in my eBay store. Have a great Tuesday. We'll do it again tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central. See you then.